This is Cynthia Heathcoe and Nicole Rymer from the Women's Chamber of Commerce, Palm Beach County, and we are coming to you live from the Contemporary Living Showroom located in the Lake Park Art District.
We're so excited. You are watching the premiere series of Women Mean Business. This is our weekly Facebook Live series that you can tune in every Thursday at 1 p.m. I'm so excited.
I'm the premiere.
Yes. And this new platform from the Chamber is where you get to know us, our members, and how they leave their footprint in Palm Beach County.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
I know, and what better way to start off the show,
Yeah.
the series, than with the Women's Chamber of Commerce President Leah Carey.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and I'm very proud to be president of the Women's Chamber.
We're so excited to have you as president. We're doing so much here at the Chamber, so we're gonna talk a lot about that every week.
Yes,
Great.
and
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want to start off because I've known you a few years since I've been serving
Going
on
on
the board.
3 years.
Going on 3 years, but you've been at the Chamber a little longer. How long have you been with the Chamber? And it's kind of a twofold question. How did you get involved? And then talk about your role as president and the mission you have for the Chamber.
So I've been involved not much longer than you, about 3.5 years. And I remember the first meeting that I did come to. Bonnie Siegfried just told me, I sat by her at a luncheon and she said, you have to come to the Women's Chamber. One of the first people that I met was Heather. So she's our president emeritus, and she made me feel so warm and welcome. And believe it or not, no matter how many years you're in business, that personal, welcoming connection, it means everything. Yeah. So what was your second question? I forget.
Talk
your
about
mission.
your role as president and the mission that you have.
So I do have a vision for the 2018-2019 year. Our mission overall as a chamber is the economic empowerment for women. And my vision is growth, as well as business efficiencies. I come from a very strong corporate background and consulting background, where if you are efficient in your business operations, you're going to have a successful business. We have to be very clear on what our mission, our values are, our vision, and this is something with CaraJoy that I'm actually working on to make that shift to keep up with the more mega issues that the greater marketplace is dealing with.
And if you don't know who CaraJoy is, she's Online Agency, and she handles all the social media for the Chamber. She's actually behind the camera today, but she does it all. She does it all for Cynthia here at Contemporary Living.
Yes, she does.
Very knowledgeable. So we're excited about the rebrand and everything that we're definitely doing.
Yes, we definitely have a process in place,
Yes.
and we're not going to hurry this.
No, it is a process that you cannot rush. So we talk a lot about gender parity. Especially, that is something that you're very concerned with. We talk a lot about it. I'm going to shoot out the number because I know it because we talk about it a lot. But for those of you who don't know, for gender parity to take place, it will be 212 years. And I don't think a lot of people actually know that. I think they think it's a lot sooner than what it is.
I did.
Yeah, I did too. I had no
I was
clue.
shocked.
I had no clue until you actually educated us on it. But what issues have you in your personal business? You come from a corporate background. Have you experienced gender parity issues? Have you seen it firsthand?
I have. I find that in the corporate world, particularly in healthcare, that's where I have my experience, that you see women who are just as educated as men, and they go up through the ranks. And then at a certain point, once they start having children, you start to see that, are they making decisions because they know that they have a lot on their plate and they don't go forward? But for whatever reason, right around that area, you start to see women not only become sidelined, but also make personal decisions that perhaps they don't want to move forward. And I think making men aware of the capability of women, because we certainly have the education and the background. And women also have a skill set because perhaps some have been sidelined. And you develop different skill sets to navigate around politics or navigate around whatever. So we are particularly qualified to be in that C-suite or be in that board. And I have to say, research from the Catalyst company shows that more boards and C-suites that have women participating in the leadership and leadership positions, the more revenue producing they are, the more successful that they are. So the research does back the thought that women come very prepared if they make the decision to go forward. And that's the issue. Are there opportunities for women to go forward?
Now, I know for myself and Nicole, we really enjoy being members of the chamber. We joined for different reasons, and I literally tried Nicole. It's like, you've got to do this.
We're so glad you did.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I love it.
It's been amazing.
It really has, yeah.
And for me, when I first joined, I had my own personal reasons. I'm a woman-owned business. Let me join the chamber. But there's more to it than that. Why is it important for our women in Palm Beach County to join the chamber?
Well, I always like to quote Margaret Mead at questions like this, where one voice is fantastic. But if you have a whole lot of voices, you do make dents. And I believe by rolling up your sleeves, working on projects together, which all of you do work very well together, but you also accomplish a lot. And learning to work with other people, work in teams, but also know why you're working. And I think our focus on gender parity has really galvanized the board, the executive team, to realize what we are doing is important. It may look like a sip and shop, but what we're really doing is getting to know other women and bringing them into the folds. So,
You go faster together.
absolutely.
Instead of separately. So that's something to think about. So we just elected a man on the board.
James,
if he's watching, shout out to James. And that's pretty bold. I don't think too many chambers are doing that. Organizations. Why was it important? And to even go a little bit further, for women in business, why is it important for men to be our allies and to really speak up and kind of go that extra mile for our
right?
Yeah.
So I think earlier you had said that it's going to take over 200 years for gender parity to take place. Women actually can't do this alone. We need our male advocates that are out there rooting for us, mentoring us, working with this, so they really can see our skill set and obviously speak to some of the difficulties and the hurdles that we've had.
Yeah.
Actually, James, we had talked a couple of times. The first time he turned us down.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Then I think he got to know us a little bit.
Yeah.
So the second time I approached, he was at the meeting that evening. And what I like about having that different viewpoint is that he is starting to see where we're coming from. And I think that he is such a powerful advocate, and he's so connected. He knows everyone in Palm Beach County.
It's not a bad thing.
But I felt that was important for us if we're going to really be serious about gender parity and putting a dent in some of the statistics. We need men rooting for us.
Absolutely.
Well, we've been hearing some things, like a couple of little taglines. This isn't your mother's chamber, and I know a lot of things are changing. But I wanted you to share with how has the Women's Chamber of Commerce for Palm Beach County changed, and which direction are we headed in that regard?
I think one of the biggest areas that I see change, and I'm also think we're driving that change as a team. The macro market, the business place, it's changing at a phenomenal speed. I think digital, social media, the fact that we have movements, Me Too, Time's Up, whatever it is, we're seeing the ground shift right under our feet, and we need to be prepared for that. That is bringing up issues that have been buried before, just like gender parity, not wanting to talk about that. If you look at boards now and there's not a woman, it is great that some businesses won't do a contract with a business because they don't have women on their board. That's good. That's changing all around us in the bigger companies. It's a human resource issue. It is a profitability issue. And I like to say that gender parity is not a woman's issue. It is a business issue. And I think we're getting that across to, and more members are becoming attracted to us, I think, potential members.
And part of that too is we just had that whole rebranding
Yeah.
with the new logo. We had the logo contest and the reveal right here at Contemporary Living, and the logo. I'm going to tell you, it makes me smile.
Spectacular.
It is
It's
amazing.
beautiful.
It is
Great. It's
gorgeous.
It represents us.
It really does.
It does,
It's colorful and it's unique, but it's current. And that's one of the shifts. But even some of the things, how we're doing things within the chamber, we're kind of stepping it up. You did the started the Dancing with Our Stars as a new direction and just this influx of energy.
Well, what I loved about Dancing with Our Stars, it was a new, innovative, a change of pace, as I think you're leading into. But we also got to show some of our community who we are and open up maybe a new marketplace, looking at mind shares, capturing hearts and minds. That event right there sold out within 48 hours. But I think the team that we all came together and we were working at just incredible speed. All of you were working. Sometimes I didn't know what you were doing, but I knew that you were doing something magnificent. And we all came together, and it was a wonderful evening. But I believe that's reflective of the larger marketplace, that people want to test that demand elasticity all over right now. What's next? Cocktail parties becoming old, and they want something new. But we also have to test, and we have to intersect our pricing elasticity too. So that was such a good test case that our community does want more from us.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting it too. To talk about what else is driving is the millennials as well. We have young women who, I look at you, Nicole, and how successful you are. And I'm probably 20 years older than you. Yeah, probably.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Yeah. You do business in a completely different way
Yeah.
than I had to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's very rewarding for us to see. So I think generational, we need to be able to talk to different generations of women.
Yeah, because you can't have one without the other. We all, the older generation needs to, mentor the younger generation, and vice versa. I think in certain things in business.
And the younger generation bringing in the fresh ideas
Yeah.
and the different ways of looking at things and looking at
Yes.
things a little bit differently and adding a little more energy to it and just subtle changes.
And for longevity
Yes.
too, so that we sustain
and to
generation
stay
after
relevant.
Relevant, absolutely.
Well, I mean, the best example of that when we were going out on the dance floor, Dance with Our Stars, and we were trying to select a song. I selected Donna Summer, Bad Girls, right? Something, I forget what it
Yeah,
was.
it was
and you're like,
something-
no.
And Nicole came in with an amazing song.
amazing song.
Yeah, this girl's on fire because we're all on fire
that's
here.
it.
Yeah,
It was better.
Yeah.
It was better. So that kind of showed like, okay.
Well, when you work together, someone has maybe a different idea.
It was better. It was better, but we all got a giggle out of that.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay,
Yeah.
Nicole, you make it this.
Yeah, but no
The
egos were
decision.
hurt. Nobody
No,
was offended.
no.
It was a collaboration.
It's always
Love that.
It's always
Yes.
collaboration here, and that's why we love the chamber. And you talk about we're kind of being innovators in just our networking events. We have a huge event coming up with Dave Ehrenberg that I want you to talk about, because it's not just like you said. It's not just a sip and shop. It's not just a dancing here or networking here. We are doing big things. We just had a event with the League of Women Voters to talk about the ballot items. Excellent. You got all the information you needed to make an informed choice. And coming up October 16th, we have Dave Ehrenberg talking about the opioid crisis.
I'm really looking forward to that event.
Yeah.
I've heard Dave talk before, and everyone who has seen him comes back more aware, educated, but he gives this overall picture of how the opioid epidemic is impacting business, our local communities. But when you think about that, I know so many people who have said, this has affected my family. And I believe that his presentation really brings it home to businesses, communities, and to the individual. I think that's very unique. So I hope we have a packed house. It's so important.
But that's an event of substance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is something that I know that the Chamber is known for, but we're
Mhm.
doing even more of that.
Mhm.
I know last year's event with him was amazing.
You talked about it for
Oh, I
weeks
was-
after I heard
and as,
about it.
Yeah, and as a mother of 6 children, it was really relevant to me. And my sons have lost people to the crisis, so it really hit home. It was like, wow.
Yes, from
The
all of our
stats.
networking events, clear to these events with Dave Ehrenberg, for instance, that are very educational, they hit home. We are appealing, I believe, to a wide range of people in Palm Beach County. And I think that's why we're relevant.
Yeah.
And we have fun too. We're an
We do
amazing
have
group.
fun.
We are an amazing group of women.
We're very close.
Yeah, we are. We all get along. So what do you think? You travel a lot for work. You do a lot of speaking engagements. What do you think is the biggest challenge for a women-owned business locally, and does it differ for national purposes?
Well, I think the core issues are the same, which is sustainability, flexibility, and being able to go to that next level plateau of profitability. Sometimes you have to unpack business models, no matter how well you are or how well you're doing. You need to be looking 5 years down the road. I believe that the smaller marketplaces, let's say Palm Beach County, they're going to see trends before the national or global companies will see trends. And I think being sensitive to change and being able to look 10 years, 5 years down the road and anticipating what the demands of the marketplace are going to be. And when you have a smaller business, being able to create your future is so much easier. And I think that is something that all businesswomen, both of you own your own businesses, CaraJoy, creating your future is much easier, I think, when you're a small mid-sized company.
Yeah, well, it's easier to take a smaller vehicle and maneuver it than it
Right.
does the larger limo.
Right.
So that's how
right.
we're going to equate it. We're going to equate it to business. I often compare that to some of the big box stores and
Right.
and with some of the impacts that we're having with the tariffs and everything that's impacting my company. Like, I'm a smaller company, I can maneuver more easily. I can shift things. I'm not like my competitors who have warehouses full of things and they can't shift as easily.
No, they're big ships with very small rudders.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it is
Okay.
being sensitive and do not, like you, I mean, just perfect example, you're speaking at events, you understand what's going on in your marketplace. As just not a woman in business, understanding your trends is just hugely important.
Well, she's on the board of HFA, so she
Yes, I am honored to be there. And there are 3 other retailers, female retailers, that are on that board. Well, actually, there's 3 of us total,
Oh, wow, including you.
including me. Our CEO is a woman, and
That's
Sharon
great.
Bradley
Oh,
does
fantastic.
an amazing job. And we have some other women who are liaisons or from, but they're not furniture retailers. So I'm in a male-dominated industry. I have the honor of serving with the vice president of El Dorado, so I get that knowledge and that information, and they're so open to giving it, which I find absolutely breathtaking and refreshing.
Yeah.
And there's times I have to pinch myself. I'm sitting next to who, and I'm getting what knowledge? It's like I couldn't buy this anywhere.
Yeah.
And so having an opportunity to join that board, when it was given to me, I second guessed it. I said, oh, I don't know, do I belong? Should I be there? But that's my own.
Well, I think women
issue as
do
a
that. We
woman.
talk about
We
that
all
all the
do that.
time, and we
Am I
got to stop
ready?
it.
Yes, you're
I gotta
ready.
stop that. And I'm
Stop
like,
it.
no, I belong there. I'm going to be there. And I show up, and I have no problem speaking my mind. And my first meeting, I'm opening my mouth, and I'm like, okay. And then someone says,
Yeah.
well, Cindy, we don't know what they do at the women's chamber, but here. And I'm like, Well.
Well, and you're
But
such an advocate for doing
Yeah.
business locally.
Yeah.
As
Most
I
definitely.
know my husband, no one is more cheap than my husband. I will tell you this.
She said
Hopefully
it.
he's not watching.
He knows. He knows
He's frugal,
this.
conservative.
But when I brought him in and you set him down, you gave him a glass of wine, and you just talked to him,
Cocktails.
boy, did I walk out with a lot. And
You
that
did.
is something.
And it came out beautiful. Your
So-
dining room is gorgeous.
But anyways, you had to reach him, and it's embarrassing to go to a car dealer with the man. So you were able to shift him.
He was so
he's the
easy to
worst.
work with. He
Oh,
really
boy.
was not. I was
Sorry, John.
sorry, John. I will tell you, he was not that bad. It was so, because you had a vision for what you wanted. I knew what would work, and I took my knowledge and that, and then of course the wine does help. But
Mine always helps.
Wine always helps. We also have Gentleman's Jack over there too. For those
We have it on the radio show for a reason. It relaxes everybody.
But I love being able to connect one-on-one with my client that way,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
walking in and just being that close, intimate. And you're the same way with your clients in
You
real
have to be,
estate.
yeah, you have to be.
Yeah. And for you, I know, Leah, you were like all over the place.
Yes, I am. I'm very blessed to be a consultant to the Fox Group out of LA, as well as Simpler out of LA. How I have West Coast clients is absolutely beyond me, because I'm an East Coast gal. But I've learned so much from my clients, and sometimes you start with people when they're just an idea, they have an idea in their head, and to see things come to where now we're a global company, it's very heart-rendering to see a business be able to get through the 5-year,
It's
this revenue.
rewarding.
Yes, especially if you've been a part of that strategy. So anyway,
See, that's why you have to have women in business, in your business, right?
Yeah.
You have to, right? I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
We do.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, thank you so much for coming on our first
Thank
show.
you.
We're
This is
so
the
excited.
flagship
Yeah.
episode,
This
yeah.
is the first of many, so make sure you
Yes.
tune in every week on the Women's Chamber Facebook page at 1 p.m. and leave us many comments. We'll be answering. We have CaraJoy here.
Well, what about those who
She's
want to
amazing.
come on? We have
Yes.
opportunities for that. Is there going to be an application for that?
Yes, there
Okay.
is. So you have to contact the
Contact
Women's
us.
Chamber, and and you go through the Facebook page, and everything is there for you. And so we're gonna have a lot of fun, because you have to have fun in life, right?
Well,
Yeah.
someone once told
You
me,
have to enjoy it.
if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong.
Doing it wrong, absolutely
doing it
doing
wrong.
it wrong.
It wrong or something wrong, yes.
you're
So-
doing it wrong.
So we will see you guys back next week. Make sure you share this, like it, subscribe, the whole 9, and we thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.